Hey everybody, Kelly Engineer here. Welcome to episode 21 of Ragnamod V. In between episodes, all I really did was some prep work for today's episode, where we're going to be going through everything related to the alchemical smelteries, the Essentia smelteries. I have all this stuff here right now. Oh, I thought there was another mob of being accosted by them. Oh, I opened a chance cube earlier that was sitting right here, and normally whenever these things spawn, they explode immediately. But I guess in the mining dimension, the arrow doesn't come down to fire at it. So yeah, we're stuck with it. I am in a chunk right now that had 180. Here we go, 180. So I'm going to plop down my arcane workbench and throw in everything I need to make arcane alembics. And I have enough to make 3 of them. Here we go. And yeah, here we go. 43 available now. So I have the arcane alembics made. I'm going to find a decent place to set all of this stuff up. As I said in the last episode, I am not going to place down my Essentia smeltery in the main working area, because there is a 20% chance that your Essentia smeltery is going to release some flux into the world. I don't want that, so I'm just going to move to a safe space real quick. Alright, we are back, and I have set up the Essentia smeltery on top of what used to be a slime island. Just covered it with dirt, really. Keep the slimes from spawning. But with my Essentia smelter, I have the 3 alembics stacked on top. Piece of alimentum in here, and I'm just going to throw in a piece of tainted soil. You see that I have 3 terra and 3 of the vicio, whatever the heck it's called. I always forget what these Essentia's names are called, but it went up pretty quickly. I'm just going to throw in the whole stack. And you see, as it starts making some Essentia in here, oh yeah, we got a little bit of flux going into the chunk too. So 12.2, 42.2, holy wow, 47, 50. So you know what? I'm just going to stop this thing. But it is starting to transfer all of the Essentia over here. So the terra is going in, and once the terra is completed, then it's going to start filling up the. You know what? I'm just going to refresh my memory on what this thing is called. Yeah, Vitium, okay. So yeah, once the terra is finished, the Vitium will fill up. Hopefully the, okay, good. The flux is going down in the chunk. I'm at 35.2 now. That I've, seems like more than a 20%. In any case, I'm going to upgrade this thing soon enough to Thaumium, and that's actually going to help me get a little bit of the loss out of the way, because I am losing quite a bit of Essentia as I smelt some of this stuff up. Throw in 4. 46, 69, awesome. Well, now that we have this, I have these warded jars in the meantime, and all I'm going to do is I'm just going to, there we go. I just filled some terra into this jar. I'll place the jar down right here. You see it got 78 terra. I'm just going to take a blank label, I'm just going to lock this to terra, so no matter what, terra is always going to be inside it. I'm going to do the same thing for the Vitium. Place you down. Put a label on you. There we go. Awesome. So yeah, that is just that's the way that things go. So I need to actually start making these Essentia tubes. So I'm going to start making a file of Alchemia, Alienus, Vincellum, and Vitium. So I think I have a file. I do not have a file. I'm going to go pick up my files and I'll be right back. Well, I have amber here, which I got from sieving, ender pearls, and Alchemia V crystals. I got these Alchemia V crystals because when I make my alimentum, I always end up with some Alchemia left over, so I just slivered it out with some quartz slivers. No issue there. I'm going to throw in. There we go. It is making the alienness for me, and it is increasing the flux of this chunk pretty quickly. 39.2. All right. Cool. Well, I at least have 15 in here, and like I said, there is a little bit of loss, so I threw in 20 crystals. Only managed to get 15 out of it. Next, I'm going to throw in the ender pearls. Oh, ender pearls take quite a while. Interesting. Also takes quite a bit. How much flux is it adding? Alright, it's already starting to go down. No issue there. Yeah, so, like I said, you just have to be careful whenever you get this stuff. Oh, it's still filling up plenty of alienness. Nice. Throw in my labels. And the last thing I want to throw in is this amber. Throw in another piece of elementum. Amber. Oh, this is another one that takes a while. Alright, flux is not getting out of control. Just use another jar. Actually, you know what? I can pick up these jars, and it will always be keyed to alienness. Put this in here, and there we go. Grab the rest of it. Okay, I have my trap stuff up there. Grab you. Place you down. And there we go. So I have the essences I need. I'm going to grab these glass phials, and the ones that I need are Vitium. Got my phial of Vitium. My phial of Alchemia. My phial of Vinculum. Where are you? And last but not least, my phial of alienness. Last but not least, rather. Alright, this quest should now be done. Let's complete it. Holy Hera. I'm not going to read all this. Alright, this just explains what each of the buttons do, so I'm going to personally read through this, but I won't read this on camera, because if the past 3 episodes are any indication, I waste a lot of time reading. Now, before I get started with the pipes, doing all of this reading, it appears I need to make one more thing. So I'm going to bust into Mansi now, very briefly. So, crafting objects of power with V has opened a whole new world for me, yet I am not satisfied. There must be a way of manipulating the aura directly, a way to draw V from the very air itself and mold it to my will. I should study the world around me and travel to its edges. There I will learn what I need. Sometimes I feel like I am being driven by forces outside my understanding, unheard voices urging me towards great power and knowledge. Shaping V will be one more step on this journey. So it wanted me to do 2 things. Visit the lowest depths of the world and visit the highest peaks. So really all I did was I just created I've completed this a while ago. But I visited Bedrock, and then I went and made a platform at about Y level 200. And yeah, I got those immediately. So, complete that. And this is what I need, the Caster's Gauntlet. So slowly but surely I'm beginning to understand the nature of V. So much is still hidden to me, yada yada yada. Let's make this Caster's Gauntlet. So I'm going to need a V Resonator, which is easy, just an iron plate and a piece of nether quartz. Aqua Air, 50V, and I get the V Resonator. Alright, with everything put in here, I have my Caster's Gauntlet. So my Caster's Gauntlet is actually used kind of like a wrench in this when I'm dealing with the piping that I'm about to create next. So yeah, whenever I have piping next to each other, if I want to separate it, I use the Caster's Gauntlet to separate it. I just need to make sure that I don't have any of the there are foci associated with the Caster's Gauntlet that will allow me to cast spells eventually once we get into Auramancy. But for now, we can complete this. And there we go, the Auramancy tab should be open to me now. Alright, well, this has been quite an adventure. I've been traveling chunk to chunk, essentially draining it of all Essentia. And the reason why I've been doing that is I needed to make all of these Essentia tubes, which cost V, and then I needed to combine them with Essentia filters to make filtered Essentia tubes, which cost V. So, yeah, I've just been traveling chunk to chunk, and I'm about to head back. And yeah, pretty much all of this area around here is drained of V. Luckily it's nighttime, so the V is generating back pretty quickly. Otherwise, I don't want to hit that 75% ratio. If the flux is 75% above what the normal V Essentia ratio is in the aura, then that is when the rifts start. So, yeah. I also realized that in order to make this plan work, I need a bellows. And the bellows is not in alchemy, the bellows is in artifice. So I need to bust back into artifice real quick in order to make an arcane bellows. The reason why I need this bellows is because I'm going to be making buffers. And with these buffers, I'm going to be filtering every single one of the different types of Essentia from my Essentia Smeltery into all of its associated jars. All the jars that I've made right now, these are in numerical order. And when I say numerical order, all I did was just open up JEI, type in @Thaumcraft, and yeah, I just order them between what they show in JEI. So yeah, this is like the second one, this is the 9th, the 11th, all that good stuff. I'm going to lay down all of my filtered pipes. Gonna make the buffers, and then I'll be back with you once I'm ready to make that bellows. And these are the last two. So here we go. I planted these silverwood saplings because they are assisting me with gaining V in my chunk much quicker than if the trees didn't exist. And yeah, instead of just running around placing down my table, re-inputting the recipe, I've just been waiting for the V to repopulate, making the stuff, and this is all she wrote. So yeah, I have all of these Essentia buffers here, including one right here where the bellows is going to go. And every time that the Essentia smeltery smelts something, then what's going to happen is it's going to go out here, the bellows is going to push it to whatever the applicable piping is going to be. So these buffers are going to store a little bit of Essentia, and if it can't actually find the Essentia attached to the two pipes on the other end, it's just going to keep moving down the line. And the bellows is going to assist with providing enough pressure for all that stuff to get pushed through. I have a total of 20 buffers made, a total of 38 filtered piping here. Yeah, filtered Essentia tubes. And yeah, each of the associated warded jars with a, hang on, here are brass lid bases. So whenever you put the jar down, all you have to do is attach the base to it, and it will ensure that nothing else will allow the Essentia to actually pass through. So you can still use a file on it, like, let's grab one of my files here. So you can still go to any one of the pipes, and I only have one there. Here we go. And there you go. So you can still grab with files, no problem. But yeah, that's about it. The piping is just there. Also, in order to set these filters, all you have to do is take the warded jar and right-click on the filter, and, oh, put the brace back. There we go. And yeah, so now only Terra Essentia can go through this pipe. Another thing that we got to make sure that we do, get the caster gauntlet, shift right click so you have red. So this is changing the direction. So Essentia is allowed to pass through here this way, but because this is red, no Essentia is allowed to pass this way. And it's just another way to make sure that you have the most stable connection as necessary. I actually got this this exact design from a Thaumcraft 6 guide online, and I'll link it in the description, absolutely. Mine in the Thaumcraft base is not going to look like this, but this is, quite frankly, the best way to teach how each of the Essentia tubes work. So yeah, that's the way that I set it up. But by all means, click that link in the description and take a read through the guide, because it is very detailed. Like, wow, is it detailed. And it goes through every single aspect of Thaumcraft 6. I'm going to take a quick break from the tubes right now because in the Thauminomicon I unlocked this bottled taint quest. So I should be able to replicate taint causing properties of flux. I'm not exactly sure why I would want to, but sometimes progress requires risk. The process may be fairly simple. I merely need to create a concentrated mixture of flux, and it should easily react with almost anything to create taint. So I need to get Theory Alchemy 1 more up in order to complete this, and that's what I'm going to do. We're going to head back to the normal Thaumcraft area and go to my research table because I have unlocked quite a few things in the Thauminomicon, and you can see that I have a lot more inspiration light bulbs. So I can do a lot more research. Now my alchemy is done with the cauldron, so click the cauldron, create theory, and I'm just going to go through and try to get my alchemy up one more point. Alright, there we go. I got my theory in alchemy, and also take note that I'm going to gain a minor warp level here. So complete it. There's a really weird sound, and I'll probably edit that up in post. Let's take a look at my sanity, see if it changed any. Oh yeah, sanity actually increased, well, not quite a bit, but compared to where it was, quite a bit. Alright, well, now that I have that bottle taint there, all I have to do is just get, what is that, 30 aqua and 30 vitium, throw in a bottle of vitium, and I get a bottle of taint? Oh, that's easy. We can do that right now. Alright, here we go, and the vial of vitium. There we go. Sliver out the rest of this Terra. And I have a bottle of taint, and I kind of want to go test this. But where should we test this? Is it throwable? Is it a throwable thing? Let's find out. So I'm back here at my taint lands, and you can kind of see with my night vision, but the taint has extended pretty far underground. Not nearly as far as I figured it would, if I'm being honest. Oh yeah, down here is extended quite a bit. But yeah, you can see that. Oh, stay away from that. That is a taint swarm. Yeah, stay away from that. They'll attack you, and it's kind of hard to hit them. Well, I'm going to throw this bottle of taint over here because the taint is not very strong here. Hopefully it works. Oh, okay, so it's just like a little liquid bit. And it puts fibrous taint all over the place. Oh, man, I should have put it right here. Well, at least they were cheap to make, so that didn't do anything to my sanity, did it? Nope. Alright, well, now that we know what that did, kind of anticlimactic. But, oh well. In between episodes, I sat in that box over there, and that is thickened glass, and just waited for this to spread. And, yeah, I was asleep for 6 hours, and it didn't complete the entire area, which confused me greatly, because in previous versions of Thaumcraft, it took no time at all for taint to spread. So, yeah, Thaumcraft 6 it just must be slower than usual. Alright, well, we're done with the taint for now, and so we're going to work on getting ourselves this arcane bellows so we can move on with alchemy. So the first thing we need to do is this infernal furnace. I found that a large part of my day tends to be taken up with smelting things in a furnace. Surely there is a way I can make this less of a chore? Time to go somewhere hot for inspiration, somewhere really hot. Now, I have already gone to the nether, so visit a hellish place. Already have my Ignis. I just need to consume some obsidian, nether brick, and blaze rods. That's easy enough. I'll get that done, and then we'll just complete this. And here we are. I have all of the items. Complete that. I'm not really worried about creating the furnace. I have to complete this quest. Oh, never mind. I can just make the arcane bellows. Boom. Observation Golemancy and an air V crystal. No problem. I got plenty of air V crystals. And complete. Awesome, I can make the arcane bellows. The arcane bellows performs much the same function as its mundane counterpart. The only difference is that it happily pumps away by itself, sending forth a stream of never-ending air. As I had hoped, they can be attached to furnaces to increase their smelting speed. It is also possible to attach them to crucibles to reduce the time it takes for their water to boil. Bellows can be deactivated by applying a redstone signal. I am confident more uses will reveal themselves eventually. So I am going to craft up an arcane workbench. It doesn't cost... I have to make this in an arcane workbench. Costs 25V, but it's super cheap to make, and all I need to do is make one of them. Also, while I am getting the... Wait a minute. New page added. Addendum. Attaching an arcane bellows to an infernal furnace... Okay. I'm not worried about that, but I'm going to create that real quick, and in the meantime, I'm also going to say that, yeah, my audio quality is probably going to be a little bit different because I'm back home right now. I also just recently went through a move, and this is the first time recording from that new location, so I have my microphone in a different place. It's a lot closer to my mouth now. The volume's going to be different. So, yeah, I'm going to be working through that, making sure that my audio quality is better than it has been. So, but yeah, that is definitely something to worry about right now if you've noticed a change in audio quality since my last couple clips. So, arcane bellows, add you. Awesome, awesome. With one arcane bellows made, I'm going to attach it right here to this buffer. The reason why I'm attaching to this buffer, and it's already working working for me. The reason why I was going to this buffer is because after I throw anything in the Essentia smeltery, once it goes to this alembic, and I can get rid of these other two, it will immediately go into this buffer, and the arcane bellows will start pushing it along the other buffers. So say I throw in something that has air and terra, or better yet, air and ignis. So it's going to smelt it up, it's going to move the air here, and then the arcane bellows will immediately push it over here to this buffer. The buffer will build up, see that there is a air filter here, and it will go into my air jar. It will then try to buffer in the ignis over here, and once it sees that this is free because the air has transferred over, the ignis will go to this buffer and transfer into the jar. But the arcane bellows is required in order to push things over quickly. So the arcane, I'm not sure if the arcane buffer, or correction, the Essentia buffer will work without the bellows there. And And even if it does, it would be remarkably slow because the Arcane bellows will make sure that a proper suction is held through all of these buffers, and it'll make it pretty quick. So let's test that right now with, I have another brick. So, I'm going to throw in this nether brick, get rid of these alembics, and throw her in. Oh, I already have a sapling in there for some reason. I'm going to need some fuel. So, going to throw in my alimentum, going to throw in this nether brick. And yeah, you see that the stuff is immediately showing up, but it's just passing through. And the buffer is holding 3. Oh, that's really weird that oh, scan you. It's weird that it's just being held there. Do I need to apply a lever? Well, with my caster gauntlet, I'm going to make sure that this is... There we go. So I had to make sure that this filter over here, make sure it's red, because red is the direction that we want. And I'm just going to make sure that all of them are red. You need to be holding the caster gauntlet in order to make this happen, so just shift right click, make sure it's all red, and this will ensure that it is only one direction. So next thing I want to do is I want to upgrade my Essentia smelter, because this one right here is it is 80% efficient, so I am going to lose some Essentia whenever things are smelting. So I want to make my Thaumium Essentia smelter, which is 90% efficient. So the basic Essentia smelter is quite crude, I have to be honest with myself. It is extremely inefficient and rather slow. I chalk this up to the low quality of materials it is crafted from. Basically, I need a theory in alchemy, and I also didn't mention that. I keep forgetting to mention things about theory. But if you look at what I have under my knowledge, you'll see that I have 3 points in alchemy right now under theory. So once I complete this Thaumium smeltery, let's look at it again. I have 2 points. So whenever you complete something, it is going to take a point from you. So be wary of that. You're going to have to go back to your research table and research more things every time that you complete one of these quests. So let's make this Thaumium Essentia smelter. I'm going to need 2 brass plates, an alchemical construct, which I have not made. Oh, 250 V is going to be really difficult. Huh. I don't think I've ever found an area with 250 V. Well, we've already broken into Artifice and Arcane Infusion, so we may as well break into Oromancy as well. What I need to do is I need to make this workbench charger. And what the workbench charger will do is it will suck the V from the 8 surrounding chunks and make it so I can use that in my crafting. So I have 140, but if it grabs the aura from the 8 surrounding chunks, then I'm going to have the 250 I need in order to make the Thaumium Essentia smelter. So, yep, we're going to have to break into Oromancy. The first thing we're going to have to do for Oromancy is make a blank lesser focus. Oh, great. Blank lesser focus. Oh, just need to use a crucible. Let's get this done. Alright, luckily now that I've actually started doing the Essentia smelter, it was easy enough to get the Vitreous and the Percantio I needed. And Aurum V crystals I already had from all of the random stuff that I was throwing in the crucible earlier. And then an Ordo V crystal. So no issue there. I'm going to throw all of these in here. And then the Ordo V crystal. Awesome, we have our blank focus, and I can complete that quest and move on to the recharge pedestal. Once I actually get into Oromancy, I'll go over all of this stuff. I'm not even focused on it right now. I have to actually do this. Dang it. Alright, here we are. I've made the V Resonator. I've made a stone table, which is new. Arcane stones, which is super easy, and I already had plenty of iron plates and gold lying around. Add the aqua and the terra, and bam, we have a focal resonator. I've also already completed the second part of that quest, which is examine fire very closely. All I had to do was just light a fire somewhere and walk into it. So once you walk into it, you'll have examined the fire closely, and you can complete this thing. I'm going to go over everything related to Oromancy in its dedicated episode, but for now, I should be able to move on to the recharge pedestal. Well, good news. I did not have to actually craft the recharge pedestal, but now I have the workbench charger. I need to do one theory in Oromancy, but the workbench charger is going to do exactly what I said I was going to do earlier. So let's do some Oromancy research, and I've forgotten what the Oromancy item is. Actually, is it the focal manipulator? That could be it. Let's place down a focal manipulator. Yes! Yep, okay, we got Oromancy. Excellent. Alright, here we go. Complete that theory, and I have a theory in Oromancy now. Can move on. Complete. I've designed a special rig that can be placed on top of an arcane workbench and the focal manipulator. This framework allows those workbenches to draw V not only from the chunk they are located in, but the surrounding 8 chunks. So this is how I'm going to get my 250 I need to craft the next Essentia smelter. When V is drawn from the ore, it will be roughly split between all 9 of these chunks, which should prevent depletion of a single chunk. And depletion of a single chunk means that I won't have that 70% of aura to flux ratio. And if I have 70% more flux in an aura, then that is when the rifts start to appear. So yeah, this is a really easy recipe. I need 200 V in order to... Oh my word. Alright, so I've been flying around the real world, and my platform can't even be seen right now, but it's over there. And I have a magical forest up here in my real world. So this is probably where I'm going to place all the Thaumcraft stuff eventually. But if you look at my Thaumium, you'll see I have 315.7 aura in this chunk. So, yeah, we're just going to place down Arcane Workbench and we can get to work. Already got my V Resonator, 2 Great Wood Planks, and Iron Ingot. Place in 2 Air and 2 Ordo, and you have a Workbench Charger. So what the Workbench Charger is going to do, place it on here, and you'll see that when I click this, I have 2,555 aura available to me to craft whatever the heck I need. So, Workbench Charger complete. Now I can actually, I'm going to go back into the mining dimension with this stuff in tow. Oh, alright, good. I have plenty on the flux magnet. And I'm going to mark this as a bookmark just so I know to come back here whenever I need crazy amounts of aura to craft my stuff. Alright, got all the supplies that I need to make my alchemical construct. Oh, never mind. I'm going to need Aqua, Ordo, and Perdicio. Aqua, Ordo, Perdicio. Now we're ready to make the alchemical construct. There we go. So 2 alchemical constructs. Now I'll take this Aqua V back. And we're going to... What the heck? There's a very weird lighting glitch. It's not an eclipse, though. Why is it acting like it's dark right now? Oh, well. So, head back to my Essentia Smeltery, go back to my Workbench Charger, and put in that alchemical construct. And I forgot, of course, my 2 Ignis. But that's fine. Forgetting my 2 Ignis is no issue whatsoever. Here we go. 2 Ignis. Gonna cost 237 V with my 5% discount. But I have more than enough available thanks to my Workbench Charger. And the aura is being distributed evenly across all 8 surrounding chunks. Oh, and there we go. Forgot to scan that. Don't forget to scan your stuff that you make. But now that we have the Thaumium Essentia Smeltery, I'm going to place this baby back down. You see it has the purple bottom, and now I have 90% efficiency. So there is a 95% efficiency with I make void metal, but that's it's a long ways down the road. The last things I'm going to do in this episode are the improved Essentia distillation quests, and I have 2 of them that I have to complete in the book. Basically what this is going to allow me to do is make the smelteries faster and make it so they don't release nearly as much flux into the air as because I am at 45.2 in this chunk right now. So yeah, I definitely want to limit that. But let's get to it. While Essentia smelters can be very fast, they could always be faster, especially the speed at which they break down the Essentia slurry into usable Essentia. It should be a simple matter for me to speed up this process. Complete. I have discovered a way to make Essentia smelting faster and more efficient. Auxiliary slurry pumps. Each auxiliary slurry pump placed on the side of a smelter acts as a secondary processor, outputting refined Essentia to any alembics placed above it. So I am not actually going to make this because it's kind of useful for me, especially with this setup that I have right here. But basically, it does exactly what it says on the tin. If I had placed it right here, then I can place alembics on top of it and increase the amount of alembic storage I have going for me. But the one I really care about is Improved Essentia Distillation Part 2. Designing the slurry pumps have given me an idea to reduce the amount of flux generated during the smelting process. I should follow up on these ideas as soon as possible. I need Observation Alchemy and Observation Artifice. Complete that. And now we have the auxiliary venting port. I've discovered a way to manage the flux generated by the smelting process. By running the slurry through a secondary set of venting ports fitted with filters, I should be able to separate out the flux and safely vent it as harmless steam. Like the slurry pumps, the vents need to be placed on the side of the smelter. This process will reduce flux produced by about a third, and additional vents will increase this, though there are diminishing returns. So, if I put 3 auxiliary venting ports on the side of here, then I am going to reduce the amount of flux generated, but the diminishing returns means that it's not going to produce me nearly as much Essentia as I want it to. So that's the diminishing returns part, but I'm not worried about that. Eventually I'm going to have more than enough things running through these smelteries that it's not going to matter, and I can, fill up my jars. So, let's make it. It requires 150 V, so I'm going to go into the real world to craft it. But all I need is iron plates, which I have plenty of, make some more brass, and alchemical constructs. Alchemical constructs, we already just went over how to produce that. All of this is super easy to make. So, I'm going to head into the real world and craft it up. Alright, I have enough for 3 of the auxiliary venting ports. Got those made. Oh, still more than enough. I love having... There we go. I love having the magical forest actually relatively close nearby. It's only 370 blocks away. So eventually, with how big I want this place to become, I can definitely make a Thaumcraft room 300 blocks away. That's no issue. But now that I have that complete, we can head back to my Essentia smelting area. Oh, and place the Arcane workbench back down. Boom. Workbench charger. Boop. And place the auxiliary venting ports on the side. So this will limit the amount of flux that is generated whenever I decide that I want to smelt things down to Essentia. And now that I have the venting ports on here, I'm ready to close this episode out. In between episodes, I'm going to find every single type of Essentia, throw it into the smeltery, and get a jar for each of these. Apply the appropriate filter. And when we get into the next episode, what we're going to do, I don't know why I opened that, what we're going to do is the last thing for alchemy that I really care about, and that is the alchemical automation. The potion sprayer is whatever. I'll craft it just to complete the quest. Eventually I do want to make liquid death, and we have the bottle tank complete. But yeah, alchemical automation, and then we will get into oromancy proper in the next episode. But I am Kelly Engineering. I hope that you did enjoy this episode, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.